Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we have Gunnar out on the global server and I want to talk about should you be pulling him right now or is it better for you to wait and see about him. Now overall my opinion is that like most cases is better for you to wait and see rather than pulling him on day one, because the thing is, even though we have seen Gunnar's usage on the VN server, he's been in 2 out of the 3 bosses in Dream Realm so far. He's not working in Doomscourge today because that is a purely summoning related boss, but hopefully we'll see him in the coming days in Dream Realm. We've already seen him in a new top team for Titan Reaver, and probably he will be in some other top Titan Reaver teams to come as more testing is happening. So that is his boss usage. He is one of the best buffers basically because of the 70% of his own attack stat buff that he will provide the ally behind him, as well as giving them a 40 attack speed buff. And especially the fact that he gives attack speed means that he synergizes really well with Sylvan, who is a basically normal attack based damage dealer after casting his ultimate. Like it's a weird case for Sylvan because he needs to cast his ultimate to activate those extra blades, but then from that point on he's just a normal attack damage dealer while that buff is active and all of those blades are firing off. And so yeah, attack speed is really beneficial. We're seeing Gunnar a lot with Sylvan, so if you've built up Sylvan, there's more value if you having Gunnar on your account. If you don't have Sylvan, we'll have to wait and see, because really the top team so far for Dream Realm, they have been Gunnar Sylvan combos. We're gonna see it. Are there other combos which work with Gunnar or not? And that is important, of course, if you haven't been able to build up Sylvan yet. But yeah, right now Gunnar, really his best friend is Sylvan for pre-endless bosses, and even maybe for phase 2 of endless that we're coming to. Now, apart from all of this, he also deals some decent damage of his own. When we take a look at the Dream Realm replays we've shown in the previous couple of days, Gunnar ends up dealing sometimes, like 1/3 of the damage of your major carry, sometimes even half of the damage of your carry. And it makes him even better for pre-endless bosses. And this is probably the reason why Gunnar is so good for pre-endless. Not only is he providing massive buffing to your hyper carry to boost their damage, and his charms, of course, this season, if we just take a look at him from the main hero page, his charms are the best charms you can have for a ranged hyper carry. They have the same charm effect as Hugin, which if you guys take a look at it here, is going to boost the damage of the ally behind you, increasing the penetration and range damage, and then also buffing the ally's attack eventually when with the legendary charms. So that is going to be big for boosting the damage. But then he also comes in with his own damage, and for pre-endless bosses that damage is useful. Now when we make it to deep into endless, probably phase 3 of endless, Gunnar's own damage probably is going to be negligible, because Gunnar doesn't have actual HP loss damage in his kit, right? So unless you have HP loss damage, you're not really going to be doing much to bosses in and deep into endless. But probably what we will see is Gunnar with Galahad, and just having Gunnar buff up Gala as much as possible with that attack buff, and just have her be the carry for your team. We'll have to see if that is actually going to be the best strategy. It probably will be, but of course we have no confirmation about that because we've never even seen him in phase 3 of Endless. We've only seen him in Pioneer server, phase 2 of Endless, and there he has been sometimes in the top team, but kind of like not a huge score gap between some other options. So really the thing about Gunnar is that for pre-endless bosses, we already know his value. For phase 2 endless, we know to an extent with some Pioneer server testing, he is probably going to be in the top teams, but maybe not a massive score gap. We'll have to see. And then for phase 3 endless, we have no idea. We're speculating that probably Gunnar would be in the top team and just having a buff up Galahad, but it just comes down to the question of, is his attack buff enough? Because, when I want to talk about some other things, is the attack buff is a 70% attack buff, right? That Gunnar is providing the ally behind him. However, it's 70% of his own attack. And when we calculate that as an effective attack buff, because of the difference between like the attack stat of Gunnar and Galahad, it works out to be around a 45% effective attack buff onto the ally, because tanks have substantially lower attack than your mage carries, for example. So a 45% attack buff. And then when you talk about endless difficulty of Dream Realm, he's not really bringing much more to the table other than his attack buff and his charm bonus. That's literally all he's going to be bringing to the table. And I don't know if it's enough. And attack speed buff is not great. Attack speed buff, the problem with this is, attack speed is really good for Sylvan. However, it's not so good for and HP loss damage dealers, because HP loss damage dealers, unless they're attacking, unless their normal attack is somehow triggering HP loss, which is like, I don't think there's any hero that does. Well, Baerland does that, but Baerland is not going to be behind Gunnar. But for the haste buff is much more valuable. And when you talk about Hugin, see, this is the big difference between Hugin and Gunnar. Gunnar gives a much bigger attack buff compared to Hugin. However, Hugin gives a haste buff, 80 haste. And when you're talking about 80 haste onto your Galahad, allowing her to cycle her cooldowns much more frequently, and get off more damage. Because if we look at Galahad, I'm fairly sure that her HP loss damage is attached to one of her skills, right? I can't even, like, I haven't even looked at Galahad since her release, because she's just been so dominant. And, is it, yeah, HP loss here. So look at this, right? It's an 8-second cooldown. So if you have 80 haste from a Hugin, it's going to go down to almost a 4-second cooldown. And if you have the twins in there as well, like, lowering the cooldown, right? But the question is, maybe the twins haste buff is enough, and haste has diminishing returns, so like that extra 80 haste buff of Hugin, is it really bringing that much to the table? Isn't it just enough to have the twins haste buff and then just try to give as much attack to the Gala as possible, like from the Gunnar? So that's going to be the debate, right? Is Hugin with the haste buff better for Gala, or is Gunnar with the attack buff better for Gala? And I don't know the answer to that, and that is why I really think you should wait and see on Gunnar. If you unless, the only circumstance I would say not to do that is, like, if you have plenty of resources, you can easily take Gunnar to Supreme Ascension, plus 15 exclusive equipment, which is, by the way, what he needs. You can either try one copy of Gunnar and try to make him use for some of these bosses and just leave him at that for right now, or you will need to get him to plus 15 exclusive equipment, because this is the core of his kit, and this attack buff is huge value for Dream Realm. So if you're not having this attack buff, it's really going to be lackluster. And also, all of the attack buffs are Gunnar skill on Gunnar's attack. So if you have him at lower ascension, his overall attack stat is going to be lower. Each ascension provides an attack stat to the hero, and so that's why you want to have him ascended as well. But like Supreme Ascension plus 15 exclusive equipment, this is the minimum workable generally for Gunnar for Dream Realm, unless you're just going to try to make it do with one copy. Like, those are the two options. Now, his Supreme Plus skill is not needed at all for Dream Realm. This is only for, like, AFK stages where you would ever want to use this. But sending him to Supreme Plus, it increases his stats. And his attack buff scales on his own stats, unfortunately. So, increasing his stats is going to be value. Plus 20, plus 25 exclusive equipment is going to be value just for that. But basically, honestly, if I was limited on resources, I would wait on Gunnar. I would not pull him right now and try to make do with him without him. If it turns out that even if he becomes like massively score gapping over this next week, still you have to be really careful, because when we move into phase 2 endless, and then when we move into phase 3 endless, I don't know how much value Gunnar is going to have. However, that all being said, if Gunnar is massively score gapping in pre-endless Dream Realm, that already is enough of a reason to be fully building him, must pulling him, because, you know, we've considered Rainier a must pull hero to Mythic Plus, and Rainier isn't even in every single pre-endless Dream Realm boss. He's like in 4 out of 8. He has a lot of value, and it's really nice to have him on your team, but like, the suspicion is that Gunnar is gonna completely power creep Rainier potentially. And if that is the case, then Gunnar does become a must pull, because like, if you're using Gunnar in almost every pre-endless Dream Realm boss and phase 2 endless as well, then it's like, there's more than enough value to build him. But the thing we always have to watch out for is Contess. Contess is coming up, and this is the thing, we just have no idea what to expect. Like, it could be very possible that Contess is purely a PvP and AFK stage hero. However, it's also possible she's a Dream Realm hero. Now, if we look at the trend in the past 3 seasons, the final hero of each season, Athalia, then Saida, then Alna, they have all been PvP or AFK stages, not Dream Realm related. So that leads me to believe if it follows that trend, that Countess could be a PvP AFK stage hero, not a Dream Realm hero. However, of course, the trends constantly get broken in AFK Journey. Like, we've had 2 Hypogean heroes back to back. Sometimes we have, you know, we had Mihira being a Hypogean mage when we were expecting a Hypogean support. So, like, you know, trends can be broken at any time. And so this argument, even though maybe it has some weight, obviously you can't count on it either. So, Yeah, I mean, saving resources for Contess is always a safe strategy, and if you can try to get by without Gunnar. And I think a lot of people are basically planning to do that and just waiting on Gunnar, trying to wait until Contess's skill kit is revealed, and that is a totally fine option. You're not gonna, it's not bad. However, if Gunnar is just completely destroying in the next few weeks, then like at that point basically it's like we probably will need to pull him anyway. If not now, by next season we'll have to pull him, so like might as well just pull him now. But we'll have to see. Anyway, like, guys, let me know your thoughts about Gunnar in the comment section down below. Have you already pulled him, or are you planning to pull him? If you are, good luck with your summons. I got unlucky. I got like a rate of around 34 stellar crystals per copy, and I did like over 30 pulls of Gunnar. So like, with so many pulls, you're expecting your rates to go around about the average, but I was quite below average and unlucky. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's gonna be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment, and you can actually bookmark this link in your browser, and whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just return to the bookmark link and make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.